Hello everyone, and welcome back to our video series on how to use Google Slides. So this particular video we're going to focus on just some of the main navigational tools, the menu bar, and the options that are available. Now again, there's a lot here, so we want to make this course really focus on the basics of Google Slides, and then later offerings will try to dive into some of these in much more detail, but we don't want to get overwhelmed yet, right? Just kind of give you a basic so you can get started using this with yourself, your workers, your colleagues, or perhaps your students. Okay, so here we go. So let's just start at the very top. Okay, so here's the place where I already showed you how to rename your slides. You can just click on that to give it a new name. When you click on that, it will also tell you where this particular presentation is located. Now, right now, we opened it in our main drive, so therefore it defaulted to being in our main drive. Okay, so if I wanted to move this to a folder in my Google Drive, I can just click on here, and now it will show me all my folders that are available, and I can just click on a folder, and then I have a lot of subfolders, and wherever I highlighted, I can just move it. Or I could even make a new folder and put it in that folder right through that particular button, the new folder button. Okay, now again, if I go into Drive, and I go into one of my folders, and then I said new Google Slides, okay, it will actually put it in that folder. Okay, so that's another tip to keep in mind, that if you already want to start it in a particular folder, you want to put it there, open that folder and then press new Google Slides, and it will already be in that folder. Okay, just another little thing to consider. Now, the star button is very handy. Say you're working on this and you want to get back to it quickly, or you know that you're going to be presenting this, the next day or two. Click on this star, and it will be kind of a favorite in your Google Drive. So if I go back to my Google Drive and I go to Starred, all right, I'm going to see that right there, Intro to Google Slides. All right, so that was really easy to get to because it was already starred. Okay, so that's another little tip to use to kind of keep things organized for yourself. Okay, now going across the top, these are your major tools, obviously, and then we'll talk about these little icons and what they mean. So if I go to File, this is like the standard. We see this on Google Docs and in other particular Google products. It made it a little smaller. I hope you can see that. You can create a new slideshow right from here, or go to a doc, or go to a form, or go to something else. You can open something right through here from your drive. You can rename it right through here, so you can just do that rather than clicking on that particular title. All right, you can also make a copy, which is a very important one, and then if I click on make a copy, this will come up, and then you can either rename it right to something else, you can change where you want to save it, and you could have different versions of this particular presentation, so you can do that as well, which is fairly handy, fairly useful. Okay, you can move it. Right now, if I click on move, it will bring you to this particular folder where now you can move it around like I already showed you. So just multiple ways to get to those same features. And you can put the trash. Now this is a really important one, import slides. So say you have already made a few PowerPoints and you want to maybe convert them to Google Slides. Do not just copy and paste your slides into here. It doesn't really work out that well. You must import them through this particular feature. And you go import slides, it will go to presentations where you can already import other Google Slide presentations that you might have on your Google Drive. You can search your Google Drive through here. You can change this to a list, and you can go through all your presentations and try to find it. Or you can go upload, and you can select it from your computer. Okay, so I'm in my Google Drive. Now I can go around looking through my drive for either Google Slide presentations, or I can look for PowerPoint presentations, and I will find those. And then now you can import them. So that's a nice feature, to import PowerPoint presentations right through Google Slides. Very useful, very helpful. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your version history, and you can see all the version histories, which is always nice, all your revision histories. So from the first day you open this presentation to the last day you worked on it, you can always go back and forth and toggle through presentation histories, which is always nice. You can also download this particular presentation. You can actually turn it into a Microsoft PowerPoint. Useful, right? You could turn it into a PDF document if you just want to have this as a handout, images from it, either PNG or JPEGs, or if you're really into graphic design or using Adobe Photoshop, you want a vector graphic of this, you can also turn into a vector graphic, which is very useful, all right, if you're into that sort of more higher end aspects. Okay, we'll talk about publishing to the web, more of the advanced features. We'll get to sharing and other features as well. Okay, and language, the page setup, which is interesting. You want it to be widescreen, or do you want it to be more of your, standard 4:3 or really wide 6:16:10, or you can even make a custom dimension, which is interesting. Never really used that feature, but you might have some great use for it. That would be kind of nice. So there's your major file button. We'll get to sharing later. Okay, it's an important feature I want to spend more time on. Your usual undo, redo, your usual shortcuts for that, copy, paste. This is all the usual editing features that you would see in any program, any Google Doc. So you can definitely use those. The view of this, you can present it right through here. There's a Control F5, which we'll talk about later. Animations are really nice, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Okay, this is something that for the longest time was not on Google Slides, and now it is, which I think makes it very, very useful. Okay, and your views and your masters, we'll talk about that as well. We get to a whole different video on themes and different ways you can organize this. Okay, you can zoom in and zoom out. All right, which is really kind of nice. Full screen mode is just your usual. You kind of get rid of the bottom stuff. If you hit escape, you can get out of that particular view, okay, which is useful to get yourself back to where you were. Okay, we'll talk about showing speaker notes later and that sort of aspects too. And you have grids. If you really wanted a grid pattern on everything, you could. We'll talk about that later as well. These are more advanced features, certainly. Okay, your usual insert images. Now you can upload them right from your computer, which is really nice. You can just click upload from your computer, which is really nice. You can search the Google Images right from here. So you just go search the web, and a little dialog box comes up for images, which is, I think, really handy rather than going back and forth. So if I wanted to do like Washington, and you got a lot of great images here from Washington that you can then just drag right over into your slide presentation, which I think is or clicked on multiple ones. Just keep on control clicking, and you can then insert all of them into your presentation, which I think is a really useful feature to have. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Also with images, you can get them right from your drive. You can get them right from Google Photos. If you know the URL of an image, this is great, or right from your camera. Since I don't have a webcam hooked up right now, but if I did, we can actually take pictures right from the webcam on our computer. Great for Chromebooks as well. Okay, you can insert text boxes, which I know is always really handy, especially for Microsoft Office users are used to doing this. I used to do a lot of text box work. There we go. You can insert a text box right there, which I think is really nice. You can insert a video, which is great because YouTube videos will be embedded automatically, or you can go to your Google Drive and you have some videos inserted here, which for the longest time this feature wasn't available. So I have a lot of movies that I do through screencasting with my students and myself that I'm talking to, so I can just click on this. Even WEBM files, I can select it. And this is right from my Google Drive, which is really nice because for the longest time this wasn't available. So you don't have to just use YouTube videos and Google slide presentations. That was something that for the longest time was the restriction. So now I can put any video that I have on my Google Drive and put it right into a presentation. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't really feel like looking at that the whole entire time. Okay, great. So that's a really helpful feature. So any video that's recent or share with me, you can insert videos and you can reformat them on your screen, which is really nice. Shapes, callouts. If you really wanted to use some different equations, you got some great things there. You want to put a table into your slide. You want to do a chart for a presentation, a bar graph, column, line. It will set up for you right here. Or if you already have one from a spreadsheet where there's already data on it, you can grab it right from Sheets. I can just hit bargram, and it will, you can, play around with the different values, which is really kind of nice. And if I went to this little button here, we can modify the bars and so forth, but that's a little more of an advanced feature, so we won't spend too much time on that. Let me just kind of delete this. Okay. So again, you have a lot of great options here in terms of charts, diagrams. If you'd love to do some graphic organizers, some sort of flow charts, this comes up where you can certainly, you know, change them and modify them. Again, this was another great asset of PowerPoint that's been available for a while. It's now available here in Google Slides as well, which is really kind of nice. Word art, right, which is always kind of fun. Put in a word and you could, you know, kind of have fun with the different styles of the word art. All right, lines, you want to put lines or arrows or curved. You can certainly do that. We'll get back to animation with our discussion of themes and other aspects. Commenting is nice, and that's more of a, you know, again, if you're collaborating and sharing, so we'll kind of come back to that when we talk about sharing, okay? Now, I don't have anything on this slide, so let me just kind of go into a different Google slide. This is a presentation that I put together for a guided reading of a particular source. So if I go to Format now, if I click on my actual text, now I can, you know, do some other things like underline. I can strike through it. I can change the font size, the text colors. Obviously, you could do all that. Line spacing, bullets, you know, capitalization. You can have title uppercases. You can put borders in and change the color of borders, right? You have so many options here to play with to make your presentation very intricate and very detailed. All right, make this a little bit bigger so we can see what we're doing here. Okay. The slide itself, which is nice, we always want to add a new slide. You can do it right through here. You can also do it here as well, add a new slide, which we'll come back to. You can duplicate slides, delete slides, or skip a slide. Talk about the backgrounds with themes. You can certainly change the background colors. You can reset the theme, all right? You can add to the theme, all right, which is kind of interesting. And you can kind of do some different aspects there, okay? Which is very, very, very useful. Okay, we'll talk about the transitions. We can change the animations and the transitions and the way the theme looks in a little bit. We could do some arranging of the particular slides. Okay, tools like spelling, always, you know, you could do a whole spell check. Explore is kind of nice. So say I want to hit Washington and I highlighted that. Okay, which is really kind of nice. I can, you know, right click on it and I can explore Washington, or I can go up here and I can do an explore, which is basically you're doing a Google search for it. And now this comes up. It's going to search. You can search for different things related to that particular search topic, which is very helpful and very useful. Okay. Do your voice speaking notes, which is really nice. You want to speak out what you're saying. There's a great voice recognition, which is great for multiple uses. This is a little bit more advanced feature if you wanted to use the Google tool called Keep, which is a note-taking app, which we'll talk about later. Scripts is a little bit more of advanced. There's some advanced features here as well. Okay, again, inserting a table onto your slide. Now, add-ons and pull everywhere, things that I do with my particular colleagues and students, and we'll get into those later. Those are more advanced features that you can add some different tools to your Google slide. Now, working our way, if we were going to present this slideshow, we can just hit present and it will start the actual slideshow from the slide that I'm viewing. Okay, so let me get out of that. So if I wanted to start from the beginning, I can just go to my first slide and then press present. You can also hit the drop down and that will give you the presenter view, which will or present from the beginning, which is really nice. And if you had a Chromecast or you had your computer hooked up to a wireless projector, you can also present on another screen. But the presenter view is kind of just what you will see. This is the presenter view. And we'll talk about that later, because that's kind of a nice feature there with Google Slides, okay? Which is very, very useful. So here, we'll come back to the presenting later in more detail. But again, these are some other tools here. You got printing, certainly, undo. You can paint. You can zoom in and zoom out. All right. You got your text box right here. Your image select is right here. Your tools for shapes and lines is also right here. Commenting is also here. Changing the background, which we'll talk about later, more of your designing it, and your layout, and your themes are all right here as well. Okay, so we're going to touch on some of these more in detail in some later videos, but hopefully that gave you a nice background on some of the major tools and options that are available. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.